After my secondary traits finally emerged, something unexpected went wrong. I developed a rare emotional scent instability, and somehow, of all people, my compatibility test pointed to my lifelong nemesis. With no other choice, I braced myself and went to see Naren. "I'll pay you 100,000, I said stiffly. "Can you spare me a little of your stabilizing scent?" His gaze turned unreadable. "Sure," he said, "but I only offer it one way." Later, my voice was raw and shaking. "Stop, I don't need your help anymore." The person beside me held me firmly in place. "If you don't want mine," he murmured, "whose do you want?" Naren has been my sworn enemy for as long as I can remember. Anything I liked, he had to take. Anything I worked for, he had to outdo. So what if he's a little taller, a little better looking? I refused to accept defeat. In kindergarten, a girl gave me a flower, he snatched it without a word. In high school, I finally made the top 3. But that was the same year Naren ranked first. The most annoying part, he awakened into a top-ranked alpha during our second year, the only one in school. And me, I stayed exactly the same. Ordinary, forgettable, a plain old beta. I comforted myself by thinking, even among betas, I'm a premium model. Stronger than most alphas, especially stronger than him. We barely survived high school, and then came college admission results. Exactly what I expected, a perfect escape plan. I almost smiled. Finally, no more Naren. My mom burst into my room. "You got into the school. That means you and Naren get to study together again." What did she just say? I inhaled slowly. What do you mean again? Wasn't Naren supposed to go abroad? My mom laughed. Who knows what changed his mind? He suddenly decided not to leave the country. Oh, and he asked me which university you were applying to. Great, wonderful. I told him, of course, she added proudly. I collapsed backward onto my bed like my soul had left my body. Then I texted him, "What are you doing?" He replied instantly, "What are you talking about?" Typical, pretending again. "Weren't you going abroad?" I changed my mind. Problem? I slammed my phone face down. Enough. I was exhausted, so I booked myself a month-long group trip the next morning, dragged my suitcase onto a plane, and vanished into vacation mode. Out of sight, out of mind. The moment the plane landed, a message popped up. "Did you bring your stabilizers? What if something happens?" TCH. He was totally mocking me for not awakening sooner. I grudgingly replied, "Brought them, don't bother me," then muted the chat. Time passes fast when you stop caring. My vacation ended. Then in a blink, college move-in day. I begged for the holiday to return, but reality dragged me out of bed to pack. And of course, I was forced to head to campus with Naren. The moment we arrived, a crowd formed around him, mostly omegas, though even a few betas tried their luck. I stood on the side like a wilted houseplant, waiting. Even though he rejected them all, I still clicked my tongue internally. While silently fuming, someone suddenly approached me. He was taller than me, but shorter than Naren. "Hi," the alpha said politely, holding up his phone. "Can I get your number?" I blinked left, then right. "Me?" Naren's gaze snapped toward us. "I'm not an omega," I said quickly. "I know," the guy replied. Dear heavens, why was an alpha interested in me? Just as I was about to decline, Naren appeared in front of me like a wall of ice. "He has a boyfriend," he said flatly. I let him have that one. Barely. Later, another omega finally asked for my number. I was about to accept when a hand appeared, blocking my screen. Naren again, this time, his arms slid around my shoulders with blatant possessiveness. "Sorry," he said. The omega's expression changed instantly. "Ah, sorry for bothering you." Before I could explain, he was gone. I stared at Naren, deadpan. So he can chase off alphas all he wants. But now he's blocking my admirers too. What boyfriend? I muttered. Since when? Instead of answering, he ruffled my hair hard enough to ruin the style. "Your mom asked me to keep an eye on you. Focus on school. Stop thinking about pointless things. You're abusing your power," I grumbled. He smirked, grabbed my suitcase, and kept walking. Since I hadn't awakened yet, I was assigned to the beta/alpha dorms. Bad news, same building as Naren. Good news, not the same room. He carried my suitcase all the way to my dorm anyway. My roommates had already arrived. And of course, our campus heartthrob was Naren. The forums had been buzzing for weeks. I rolled my eyes. Wrong. I'm the real heartthrob here. My roommates joked, good thing he's not our roommate, or our love lives would be doomed. Naren ignored them and calmly helped me set up my bed. Before leaving, he distributed regional snacks to each of them. "Please take care of Varen," he said with a rare polite smile. My roommates laughed. "Don't worry, Naren, we'll protect him." I immediately pushed him toward the door. Okay, go unpack your own things. This guy was impossible. If I wasn't careful, he'd steal my roommates next. Thankfully, Naren and I weren't in the same major. At least we didn't have to share classes. Some personal space still existed. But today, something felt off. My head was light, my focus scattered. Even in lectures, I could barely stay awake. After class, I planned to head straight back to the dorm. Before I could slip away, my roommates grabbed me with mysterious expressions. "Varen, bro, want to see something interesting?" I blinked. Interesting? How? You'll know when you get there. Curiosity won. Even though my head was spinning, I followed them. We stopped in front of a bar. "Seriously?" I said flatly. "This is the interesting thing." I turned to leave, but they shoved me forward. "Oh, don't be boring. You're already here." Inside, I found a quiet corner and ordered a drink. Small sips only, I told myself. Except the drink was ridiculously strong. Within minutes, my vision doubled, and the world tilted. My phone rang. With my last sliver of clarity, I picked up. Naren's voice was low. "You're not in the dorm. It's noisy where you are. Tell me where, I'll come get you." Before he finished, I collapsed onto the table and blacked out. When I woke again, I was lying on a hotel bed. My head wasn't any clearer. If anything, it felt even hotter and heavier. Naren walked in carrying a glass of water. "You're awake. Still dizzy?" I caught a faint hint of sandalwood around him. He put on cologne. That was new. I grabbed his arm. He bent slightly toward me, worry tightening his expression. "What's wrong? Does something hurt?" Instead of answering, I leaned closer and inhaled. "Naren, you smell really good." He stood up abruptly, taking a deep breath. "You can, actually smell my scent." My mind was a haze. All I wanted was more of that calming fragrance. My gaze drifted until I spotted something at his neck, a small patch. Before I knew what I was doing, I reached out and peeled it off. His body tensed, ears flushing red in an instant. His eyes dropped to mine, dark and unreadable. "Varen, do you know what you're doing? Are you inviting me?" Before he finished, my body gave out again, and everything went black. The next time I woke, morning sunlight filled the room. I squinted at the time, and bolted upright. "I'm late, I'm so late." Then I noticed something else. My clothes had been changed into a hotel robe. I didn't have time to think about it. I rushed to wash up just as the door unlocked. Naren stepped inside, calm as ever, carrying breakfast in one hand. "My clothes?" I demanded. He set the food on the table. "They were soaked in alcohol. I washed them." I muttered. "Even my underwear smelled like alcohol?" "Yes," he replied without hesitation. I stared. "You smelled them?" The moment the words left my mouth, I regretted them. His throat moved slightly, but he didn't answer. I cleared my throat. "Anyway, thanks." He raised a brow. "What was that?" "Couldn't hear you." I rolled my eyes and leaned in close to his ear. I said thank you for dragging my drunk body here. A faint smile tugged at his lips. "Breakfast. Come eat." That's when I remembered the urgent part. "I can't, I'm late for class." He pushed me gently but firmly into the chair. "Eat first. I already reported your absence." Relief washed over me. I stuffed a piece of bacon into my mouth. "You should have said that earlier." His cool fingers pinched my cheek. I looked up, annoyed. Then he asked, "Do you remember anything from last night?" I tried to think. Nothing surfaced. "Did I throw up on you?" I guessed. Naren's fingers tightened on my cheek. "Just eat." Then he added, "From now on, keep your stabilizers with you at all times. And don't go to bars again." "Got it," I said weakly. After tidying up, we returned to campus together. Just as I stepped into the dorm, my roommates immediately surrounded me. "Varen, you've changed, staying out all night." I sighed. "You seriously have the nerve to say that? You all just watched me get taken away." They laughed. "Wasn't it Naren who came to pick you up? If it were anyone else, we'd never have let you go." I didn't bother arguing. I opened my laptop to catch up on the lessons I missed. The next few days passed quietly. Aside from the occasional wave of dizziness, everything felt normal. Not seeing Naren actually felt strange. I wasn't used to it. After a full day of classes, we were heading to the cafeteria. The moment we stepped out of the classroom, I saw Naren leaning casually against the hallway wall. My roommate smacked my hip playfully, then slung an arm over my shoulder, teasing. "Look, the school's golden boy is here again to fetch his sweetheart." I deadpanned. "That's disgusting. Get away from me." Naren's gaze lingered on my roommate's hand. His eyes cooled noticeably. My roommate swallowed hard and immediately dropped his arm. I turned to Naren. "What's up?" He slowly pulled out 2 concert tickets. The same tickets I spent 3 whole days trying, and failing, to get. I reached for them, but he quickly lifted his hand away. "The flights are booked. After class on Friday, I'll come to your dorm." Pack clothes for 2 days. Before I could reply, he ruffled my hair and walked off. My roommates stared at me like they just witnessed a romance drama plot twist. Varen, something's going on between you two. He definitely. I cut them off. Stop talking nonsense, please. I tapped your hip earlier and the guy looked like he wanted to murder me. If that's not something, I don't know what is. The others nodded. You're not fooling anyone, not even yourself. I ignored them, my mind stuck on those tickets. Believe whatever you want. Back in the dorm, I immediately started packing. I glanced at the suppression patches on my desk. After hesitating, I left them behind. The greater the expectation, the greater the disappointment. Being a beta wasn't that bad. Finally, Friday arrived. When I hurried back to the dorm, Naren was already waiting at the door. He leaned against the wall, tall and relaxed, his presence impossible to ignore. I caught myself staring, and the moment he turned his head, I abruptly looked away and went inside to grab my bag. Just one backpack. Let's go. I walked behind Naren the whole way. By the time we reached the hotel, it was already evening. Once he got the room card, I followed him upstairs. Hold on, there was only one room. I frowned. Why is there just one? Naren replied calmly, because I only booked one. I rolled my eyes. I mean, why? Putting down our bags, he glanced at me. What? You're that worried about yourself? Or, are you worried you'll be tempted by me? I bristled instantly. Please, if anyone's tempted, it would be you, not me. He didn't deny it. His gaze warmed, deepened. He stepped closer, 2 slow steps, cornering me against the wall. I want you. He was acting weird again. Was he doing this just to mess with me? I ducked under his arm and ignored him while unpacking. After showering, I requested an extra blanket from the front desk and used a towel to draw a clear boundary line across the bed. Separate sides, no exceptions. I collapsed onto the bed and quickly fell asleep. The next morning, I woke up because of the heat. An arm was wrapped tightly around my waist. The person behind me radiated warmth like a furnace. Still half asleep, I moved, catching a faint trace of sandalwood in the air. Strange. Familiar. I sniffed again. My face grew warm. That dizzy feeling again. I tried to pull away from Naren's hold, but he instinctively tightened his arms around me. I purposely brushed my hair against his neck. He finally reacted, his voice low with sleep. Don't move. Let me go, I grumbled. He reluctantly released me. I sat up immediately, and then froze, realizing my body felt different. What was happening? It was probably just a normal physical response. Nothing unusual, right? Naren sat up as well. I stayed perfectly still, terrified he'd notice anything. He reached out and touched my forehead. You're not feeling well. Your face is really red. I kicked him lightly. No, it's just hot. Go get ready. Instead of leaving, he grabbed my ankle. With him holding me like that, I barely dared to move. Let go. As I jerked my leg back, he released me, which made the blanket slip aside instantly. His eyes paused on me, brows raised slightly. My entire face burned. What are you looking at? It's a normal physiological reaction. Don't you ever? Naren's lips curved. Varen's growing up. I exploded. Get out. He stood up, handed me a glass of water, and said gently, calm down. Only after I took it did he head to the bathroom. It took a long while before I recovered. I clenched my teeth. I would absolutely get back at him for this today. The concert was scheduled for the afternoon. After lunch, we went back to the hotel to rest for 2 hours before heading to the venue. On the way, the dizziness hit me harder than before. Still, I pushed through. This concert was worth it. The show started right on time, and the 2 hours flew by. Back at the hotel, Naren immediately noticed something was wrong. You're not feeling well. My head felt heavy, my body weaker than earlier. The faint sandalwood fragrance in the air grew stronger around me, but somehow, it still didn't feel like enough. Naren leaned down, carefully helping me drink some water. A few drops slipped down the corner of my lips. His throat moved slightly, and his fingers brushed along my jaw. Just a light touch, but it made my thoughts scatter. Naren, I met his eyes. Can I smell your cologne? His gaze darkened. Varen, what scent are you picking up? I leaned closer to the side of his neck. It's strongest here. He coaxed gently. Tell me what it is, okay? I inhaled deeply. Naren's body tensed for a moment. It's sandalwood. He froze completely. My mind was a blur, words spilling without filter. I think I have a scent too. Do you want to? The next instant, a subtle iris-like fragrance drifted through the room. Naren's composure slipped in an instant. Your face is red too. Are you feeling unwell? He didn't answer my question. Instead, he hurried to his bag and pulled out suppression patches. He changed his own first, then walked back to me. Varen, be good, put this on. I tilted my head slightly, exposing my neck without thinking. His hand trembled as he applied the patch. After that, everything faded. When I opened my eyes again, I was lying on a hospital bed. The doctor noticed I was awake and said, "You didn't realize you were undergoing differentiation. Luckily, you're fine. We'll monitor you for a day, and you can be discharged afterward." It took me a moment to process his words. I had differentiated. I grabbed the doctor's sleeve, panicked. "Doctor, if someone differentiates into an alpha, is there anything important they need to know?" He gave me a confused look. "What alpha? You're an omega. And a rare S-class omega at that. I'll leave you a pamphlet about omega physiology. Read it carefully." Then he walked out, leaving me sitting in silence, completely overwhelmed. Only after a long moment did I notice Naren standing quietly by the bed. I glared at him. "So I'm an omega. Happy now?" I expected comfort, but he didn't even pretend. "Yes, I'm very happy." I shot him a murderous look and pushed myself up. "Even if I'm an omega, I'm still tougher than you." Naren casually handed me my medicine. "Then I'd like to ask this tougher-than-me omega to take their medication properly." I snatched it from him. "Whatever." Naren stayed with me until the day I was discharged. When he returned with the payment receipt, I was in the middle of switching out my suppression patch. He opened the door right as I peeled the old one off. "Thanks. How much was it?" "I'll transfer it to you." Naren stopped at the doorway, brows tightening. The room was filled with a soft iris scent. His ears turned faintly red before he quickly shut the door from the outside. After putting on a new patch, I walked over and opened the door. "Why didn't you come in? You think I can eat you or something?" Naren grabbed my wrist abruptly and pulled me back into the room. "Don't change suppression patches in front of anyone, especially not an alpha. That hurts. Let go." He continued, "Varen, do you know what it means to change a patch in front of an alpha?" "It means I changed a patch," I replied flatly. Naren released my wrist, tapping his fingers on the table as he spoke clearly. "It means you're inviting me into your bed." I froze, staring at him in disbelief. "Don't say things like that." "I wasn't." He took my wrist gently, speaking softly but seriously. "I'm not joking. Scent and patches are extremely personal between A and O." My face heated immediately. I looked away, muttering, "I get it." After leaving the hospital, we headed straight to the airport. Naren didn't give me time to rest. He took me to the administration office to register my gender marker, then dragged me to meet the teacher for a dorm reassignment. Once the paperwork was done, I tried to follow him upstairs to pack, but he blocked me. "Wait downstairs. I'll handle it." Then he went to a nearby store, bought an ice cream, opened it, and handed it to me. "Stay here. Don't go up." For the sake of ice cream, I let him have that one. "Fine. Don't forget anything." In less than 20 minutes, he came downstairs with my suitcase, followed by 3 large guys, my former roommates. "Varen, how could you turn into an omega? Our brotherhood is over," one of them wailed dramatically. He moved to sling an arm over my shoulder out of habit, but Naren blocked him halfway. Another roommate joked, "So now that you're an omega, does that mean I can chase after you?" Naren's expression darkened immediately. I felt strangely guilty. "Don't say weird things. I'm leaving. Don't forget to call me for group dinners." After saying goodbye, we headed toward the Omega dorm building. Naren walked beside me silently. I tugged on his sleeve. "Wait here," then ran into the store. After paying, I handed him the ice cream I bought. "This one's more expensive than the one you gave me. Now stop looking so gloomy." He lowered his eyes, accepted it, and gave a small laugh. "You're trying to make me feel better." I refused to answer and just walked ahead. He stopped at the entrance of the Omega dorm. I carried my own luggage upstairs to my new room. It was a 4-person dorm, though 2 students rarely stayed there. The new roommates were friendly. We warmed up to each other quickly. Accepting that I'd finally differentiated as an omega had already taken all my courage. So I followed the doctor's advice, took the medication, wore the suppressant patches, but my senses toward alpha pheromones were still unusually sharp. During public lectures, if an alpha came within 5 meters, dizziness and nausea hit instantly. Yet none of those symptoms appeared when it came to Naren. Whenever he was nearby, I found myself unconsciously drifting closer to him. Something was wrong, very wrong. So the moment class ended today, I rushed straight to the hospital for every test they could run. When I finally received the results, I just stood there, helpless. Pheromone dysregulation syndrome, the words felt bold and heavy on the page. "You differentiated too late," the doctor explained. "Your system's been strained for too long. That's why you react negatively to most alpha pheromones. The medicine I gave you will only ease the symptoms." I felt my heart sink. "Doctor, isn't there a way to cure it completely? I'm still young." He countered, "Do you react to every alpha?" Are there any exceptions? I paused, then admitted honestly, there is one alpha. When I'm around him, I don't feel sick at all, actually, I keep wanting to get closer. The doctor snapped his fingers. That means your compatibility with him is unusually high. If you regularly synchronize pheromone signatures with him, think of it as temporary stabilization, the syndrome will gradually disappear. Back at the dorm, I lay on the bed, feeling utterly defeated. But after days of taking my medication, nothing improved. My reaction to other alphas even worsened. I tossed and turned all night. By dawn, I finally made up my mind and grabbed my phone. Are you free tomorrow? Let's have dinner. He replied instantly. Sure, I'll wait for you downstairs tomorrow afternoon. The next afternoon, before I could even message him, Naren was already waiting beneath my dorm building. We went to a small restaurant near campus. Neither of us ate much. After several deep breaths, I forced the words out. Can you lend me some of your pheromone signature? I'll pay you. I've saved 100,000. You can have all of it. Naren froze for a moment, his expression unreadable. I tried to fix what I had just said. If you don't want to, forget it. I can try someone else. He cut me off instantly. Don't look for anyone else. His gaze burned, quiet but intense. I'll help you. I blinked. Really? A faint curve tugged at his lips. But I only have one way of doing it. What way? He didn't answer. Instead, he simply led me out of the restaurant. He hailed a cab. Destination, a hotel. Because properly synchronizing pheromone signatures definitely couldn't be done in public. I followed him into the room. The moment the door clicked shut, he backed me gently into the corner. His voice was low, controlled. Ready? I nodded. His fingers, long and steady, lifted the edge of my suppressant patch. A warm, woodsy scent spread through the air. And then, a cool sensation brushed the side of my neck. The patch came off. My thoughts scattered instantly. I leaned closer to him, breathing unsteadily. Naren's eyes were filled with restraint. Varen, this is the only way I know to help. Before I could say anything, something soft brushed the corner of my lips. A touch, barely there, yet enough to scatter what little clarity I had left. After a long moment, he finally released me. His breathing was heavier than usual. I urged quietly, help stabilize me, please. Naren's Adam's apple moved almost imperceptibly. After a pause, he pressed a new suppressant patch gently onto my skin, completing the temporary synchronization. When it was done, he opened another pack and helped me with a second patch before heading into the bathroom. He stayed inside for a long time, long enough for me to regain some clarity, and then bury myself under the blanket in horror. Heavens, what did I just say? Why on earth did I practically beg him to help? Just when I thought I might actually combust from embarrassment, the bathroom door opened. Naren stepped out and walked toward me. Varen, come out. No, I squeaked from under the blanket. I can't face anyone right now. He chuckled softly, voice gentle. I'm heading back to campus first. You stay and rest. Go back tomorrow. I said nothing. Through the blanket, he ruffled my hair lightly. Then he truly left. Only after the door closed did I finally peek out, taking several deep breaths. My heart still wouldn't slow down. The next morning, I hurried back to school. Just before reaching the teaching building, an unfamiliar Omega stopped me. Excuse me, he said shyly, handing me an envelope. Could you give this to Naren? Thank you. I froze, but before I could respond, he pushed the letter into my hands and dashed away, red to the ears. A strange discomfort curled quietly in my chest. I slipped the envelope into my book. All through class, I couldn't focus. When it ended, I walked with my head down, straight into a warm chest. Naren took my textbook from my arms. Don't daydream while walking. But the envelope fell out. He picked it up, confusion flickering across his face. A bright red heart was drawn on the front, obviously a love letter. I stammered, it's not mine. Someone asked me to give it to you. Something darkened quietly in his eyes. Without another word, he led me into an empty classroom. His arms circled around me, preventing escape. Someone asked you to pass this on, and you just agreed. I retorted defensively, what else was I supposed to do? Instead of getting angry, he laughed softly. Varen, do you really not understand how I feel? I avoided his gaze. The next second, his voice dropped, serious, unguarded. I like you, Varen. My heart had already been racing beyond control. My mind went completely blank. Naren, confess to me. He pressed gently, do you really feel nothing for me? At that moment, my only instinct was, run. I slipped out from under his arm and fled the classroom in a panic. Behind me, I heard him let out a helpless, quiet laugh. I sprinted back to the dorm as if chased by something I couldn't face. Deep breaths didn't help at all. No matter how I tried to calm down, my thoughts kept circling the same place. Naren. Everything about him, even the faint trace of his scent lingering in my mind. I forced myself to steady my breathing. I remembered something ridiculous. I used to think I hated him. But does anyone feel their heart racing like this when looking at someone they hate? My thoughts were a tangled mess. I shook my head hard and decided to stop thinking altogether. For days, I stayed in the dorm, barely going out. Even my roommate sensed something was very wrong. One evening after dinner, he came over to my bed. "Varen, you've been cooped up for too long. Come out with me and clear your head." "Clear my head where?" I asked weakly. "There's a small social mixer tonight. Nothing serious. Let's just go look around." I rejected it almost instantly. "I'm not going." He sighed. "Hey, I'm asking you to keep me company. And don't worry, I won't let any alpha get within half a meter of you." He was being kind. I couldn't refuse again. We cleaned up and went together. It was a quiet little bar. As soon as we walked in, I found a corner and sat down, ordering a drink more out of habit than interest. A few alphas came over asking for my contact, but I turned all of them down. When I got too bored, I nudged my roommate. "I'm stepping out to get some air. Want me to go with you?" No, I'll be right back." The hallway outside was calmer than the private room, though still lively. I leaned against the wall, letting my mind drift. Then, out of the corner of my eye, I caught a familiar silhouette. I turned. Naren stood at the far end of the hallway, speaking with an omega. An unpleasant heaviness settled in my chest, subtle, sour, and unwelcome. I stared straight at them. After a moment, Naren finally noticed me. He turned his head, glanced casually, and then continued talking. That single indifferent glance almost broke me. Before I knew it, my feet were already carrying me toward him. The omega beside him finished speaking and left. I stopped in front of Naren, awkwardness flushing through me. "Fancy seeing you here." His expression was different than usual, colder, distant. "I'm here for the mixer." My breath caught. I stood there, unable to respond. Without another word, Naren turned to go back into the room. Watching his back retreat made something inside me twist painfully. He said he liked me. He said it so firmly. So why was he here? His steps were slow, too slow. When he reached for the doorknob, I couldn't take it anymore. I rushed over and blocked him. "You can't go in." He lowered his gaze. "Why not?" You just can't." He reached for the door again. I blocked him again, frustration rising. "I don't want you going in." His eyes lowered, his voice cool. "And what gives you the right to stop me?" My mouth opened, but nothing came out. Seeing that, he moved again to open the door. And just like that, the last thread holding me together snapped. "You said you liked me." My voice cracked. Was that a lie? If you like me, why would you come to something like this? I hate you." Tears spilled before I could stop them. Humiliated, I stepped aside. "Go in if you want." His tone softened immediately. "Varen, don't cry." "I'm not." My voice betrayed me. He reached out and gently brushed the tears from my face. Then he pushed open the door. The room inside was empty. "You tricked me." He bent down slightly, exhaling a quiet sigh. "Varen, when will you finally understand?" Seeing the empty room calmed me just enough to think again. Naren continued softly. "Why did you stop me?" "Varen, you do like me." He said it like a certainty. Some reckless courage sparked in me. I stood on my toes and pressed a quick kiss to his lips. He froze for a heartbeat. Then everything shifted. His hand steadied my waist, and he deepened the kiss instinctively. Only when my breath hitched did he let me go. His voice was low, rough with emotion. "So, what exactly are we now?" I looked up at him. "Do I really have to spell it out?" "Yes." His smile was faint, but his eyes were serious. "Because otherwise, I won't understand." I swallowed hard. "We're close enough to share information and stabilize each other." He wasn't satisfied. "And what am I to you?" I turned my face away, embarrassed. Naren gently cupped my chin and guided my gaze back to him. "Varen, you know what I want to hear." I inhaled deeply. "You're my boyfriend. And I'm yours." "There, happy now?" His smile bloomed slowly. He leaned close, whispering near my ear. "Very happy, boyfriend." After explaining everything to my roommate, Naren and I left the bar. On the way back to school, I finally asked, "If you weren't here for the mixer, why did you come?" Naren intertwined our fingers and tapped my nose lightly. "Your roommate was in one of the photos he sent. He told me the location." I flushed, embarrassed. "I only came to keep him company. I didn't do anything else." Naren smirked. "What else were you planning to do?" I leaned closer to his neck, muttering, "I could think of plenty." Halfway down the street, I suddenly remembered. It had been a week since my last information stability session. I squeezed his palm. He understood immediately. The destination quietly changed to a nearby hotel. The soft mix of iris and sandalwood filled the space between us as we sat close, syncing our breathing, letting our scents align slowly and safely. Just another round of emotional and scent-based stabilization. No more than that. Spring turned to summer. Soon, the vacation arrived. My condition was nearly fully healed. Both our families already knew about our relationship. We also had competitions to prepare for, so neither of us left campus. Naren even bought a small apartment near the university. He claimed it would help us study better, away from the library crowds. The day we moved in, I sprawled across the bed while he organized everything like an overly capable housekeeper. When he got to my more personal belongings, I shot up instantly and snatched them away. He chuckled. Still shy, ha. I ignored him and sorted the rest myself. Later that night, after showering, I lay on the soft bed and sighed with satisfaction. Naren came out of the bathroom, his gaze warm and direct. Baby, it's time for your treatment. I nudged him with my foot, but he caught my ankle effortlessly. Varen, he murmured, the night is long. We'll take our time. I felt my face burn. He pulled me into a steady embrace, guiding me through calming exercises and slow scent synchronization. The same comforting, stabilizing routine we had learned over the past months. Outside, tree branches swayed in the wind. Inside, Naren held me close, his voice low and certain. Varen, we'll stay in love. Always. The end.
After finishing this story, there's one thing I just can't ignore. This is not just a love-hate romance. It's a slow-burning collision between two people who spent their entire lives circling each other without understanding why. What really stands out to me is how the author handles tension. The push and pull between Varen and Naren isn't simple banter, it's history, pride, fear, and unspoken desire all wrapped together. Every scene feels like a moment where something almost happens, and then doesn't. That, almost, is what keeps us hooked. I especially love how their rivalry becomes the story's emotional engine. Varen spends years thinking he hates Naren, yet every reaction, every heartbeat, every moment of jealousy reveals the opposite. And Naren? The man has the emotional subtlety of a glacier, but somehow every action he takes points in one direction. He's been protecting Varen far longer than he's willing to admit. Now, is everything perfect? Not exactly. The pacing in some sections jumps fast, almost too fast, especially during the differentiation arc. A few emotional beats could have used a little more breathing room, just enough space to let us stay in that moment with the characters. But overall, the emotional payoff is worth every page of chaos. And what I find most interesting. This isn't really a story about awakening secondary traits. It's a story about awakening to your own feelings. About realizing that the person you thought was your enemy, might have been your anchor all along. So here's my question for you, at what point do you think Varen actually started falling for Naren? Was it the jealousy? The scent compatibility? Or was it long before he even realized?